All right, let's talk about the beauty of tone. What is tone? To me, tone is the way a guitar sounds. Tone could be a very bright tone. It could be a very mellow tone. It could be something very dark. And it's basically very, very subjective, especially playing jazz. If you listen to the tone of, say, Wes Montgomery versus Grant Green, and even George Benson, there's a lot of nuances of it. If you listen to certain recordings or certain type, there's a tone I call the polytone. Polytone tone. I hate that word, but it's hard to pronounce. Basically, that's the tone that I personally like, which is very, very mid-rangey. And it comes about really people playing, guitars playing primarily arch-top guitars, like typically a Gibson through a polytone amp, solid state amps, really warm sound, and something that's to me akin to like the tenor sax, a little bit like the cello. It's got that darkness and that warmth. Very, very different than a lot of the tones today that are very, very processed. Some people like Pat Metheny's tone. It's a lot of reverb on that stuff, a lot of sort of like sustain. Sometimes I go a little crazy with that kind of a tone with a little bit too much reverb. But anyway, let's talk about how to get that tone. And I'm not going to use an amp. I want to first get you to understand the tone that your fingers and picks, thumb picks, Alaska picks, your thumb, all of that stuff can do. Because I think before you can start messing around with the amp, before you start messing around with pedals, you gotta have to play around with just what is the tone of the acoustic guitar in and of itself, or in a natural state. That's why to me, classical guitars are the masters, the way they can control the tone without ever plugging into anything. So let's talk about that. So for purposes of this, I've got my arch top and I've got the Heritage, because it actually has a really nice acoustic sound. So boom, let's do the thumb first, and I'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, when you use your thumb, the beauty of it is that all the notes are the same. What I mean by that is that the level and the evenness of that, because it's basically everything is being struck with the same same finger. Okay, so it's even. So, and that kind of differs when you play classical technique. All right, and so that's the beauty of it. And then the thumb, out of all of your fingers, has the most flesh. So you're going to get the fattest sound, and obviously, Elephant in the Room is Mr. Wes Montgomery, right? So you get the fattest sound out of it, and it's once you get the hang of it, it feels really, really good. It's very expressive, and it's its own tone control. What are the drawbacks of the thumb? Speed. If that's your thing, is to be a speed demon, I should say, that's not going to happen with the thumb. You can go fast because there's a lot of Wes lines, and I've seen Benson play lines. I've seen a lot of guitarists use thumbs, just their thumb, and they can play really fast. I have a tendency, for me, when I use my thumb, to not go fast, which I like because it forces me to play a lot much more expressive. All right, so again, the thumb, very, very expressive. you kind of limited in terms of your speed. Even if you can go fast, you always can probably go a little bit faster with the pick or with using, you know, all your other fingers. So that's one thing. Now, let's do a little bit of a classical technique, and we'll see what the advantages and disadvantages of that. So for the purposes of this, I don't have, I've got some nails, but not a lot of nails. So we'll do this. Okay, obvious thing that you can get when you use all of your fingers is you can get multiple lines going, which is beautiful. And to me, it's the highest form of guitar playing because the guitar becomes a mini orchestra. There are guys who can play with their pick or with their thumb, and they can make it sound like 2 or 3 guitars. Barney Kessel was one. I mean, and he didn't always use like a Travis style picking or anything like that. So it can be done if you practice it long enough. But basically, the advantage of using a classical style to me is that you've got all of these fingers, and it's very pianoistic in terms of your approach. You've got really good harmonic lines going, double stops. Really, it just opens up the whole gamut of the beauty of the guitar. So that's one thing. So now, pick. For the purposes of this, I am going to use my blue chip pick for this one. All right. So let's see this. Okay, so when you use a pick, the obvious thing is you can go a little bit faster. And when you're playing like an acoustic instrument, say this arch top, I don't have anything plugged in or anything like that, you can get a little bit more volume out of that stuff and you can kind of dig in. It's not a limitation, but it's just definitely harder to play chord melody with a pick. Let's just say I wanted to play a little bit of a chord melody, but I didn't want to use my middle finger or my ring finger. And I just wanted to use that. Let's do a Beatles song. Now, if you watch my right hand, I didn't use anything except that pick, but I'm missing lines when I do that. So if I were doing it and I didn't use the pick and I just did it with classical style with just my fingers, it goes. See, this is basically an octave when I hit this. So when I'm playing it with just the pick, I don't do that. So, you know, I can get the line and the melody going, but it's definitely a much richer song if I'm just using it with just my fingers. Okay, and to me it's a lot easier to play it that way. And even if you try, say, a classical song, like if you did Bach's J.G. Charles of Man's Desiring, you tried it with the pick, just the pick, without using any fingers, it would sound something like this. Yeah. See how hard it is? I have to actually think about it. Whereas processing it and doing it. Okay. All right. So you get the idea. If you practice anything long enough, you're going to get it down pat. So that's that with using this pick, which is just the blue chip pick. Now, a little variation that I like to do is a good thumb pick. And this is sort of like a little bit of a game changer. It's a Black Mountain pick, which functions, if you look at it this way, it functions like a pick, but like a thumb pick. And so that allows you, for me, to do finger style and lead style stuff. So I can do So this is a game changer like that. Now, some people do this and they just Travis picking style. So there you have it. One last thing before I finish this. Sorry for this long video. Alaska picks. So you can do this, and it's its own little tone bar. If you put all of this stuff in there, and that just allows you to get a focused sound as if you had nails when you don't have nails. Like I don't have nails right now, or they're not long enough. And it allows me to play classical style as if I had nails. Okay. Okay, nice crisp focus sound. There you have it. Sorry for this really long video, but you get the idea. I love guitar and I love to experiment. So, you know, try some of this stuff, play around with it, and just develop your own style. Feel comfortable with it, and practice. Thank you for watching. Bye now.